The warm evening air felt good against Keanu's face as he stepped out of the fancy restaurant. The meeting with his agent had gone well, but he was tired. All the talk about new movie deals and contracts made his head spin. He just wanted to go home and relax with his cat. He walked slowly toward his black motorcycle, which was parked under a streetlight. The restaurant was in Beverly Hills, where everything looked expensive and perfect. Even at night, the street was clean and quiet. Rich people lived in this area, and they made sure everything stayed nice. As Keanu reached for his helmet, something caught his eye. A young girl was sitting alone on a wooden bench near the sidewalk. She looked about 12 years old, maybe 13. Her clothes were nice, a clean white dress and shiny black shoes. But something felt wrong about seeing a child alone at this time of night. Keanu looked around for her parents or anyone who might be with her. The street was empty except for a few cars driving by. No one else was walking around. Where were her parents? Why was she sitting there all by herself? He could not just walk away. His mother had taught him to help people when they needed it, and a young girl alone at night definitely needed help. Keanu walked over to the bench. His footsteps made soft sounds on the concrete. The girl did not look up at first. She was staring at something in her hands, but he could not see what it was. "Excuse me," Keanu said gently. He did not want to scare her. "Are you okay? Do you need help?" The girl slowly lifted her head and looked at him. Keanu felt surprised. Her eyes were very bright, almost like they were glowing in the dark. But that was impossible. It must be the light from the street lamp playing tricks. "Hello, Mr. Reeves," the girl said. Her voice was calm and clear. She spoke like an adult, not like a child. Keanu felt confused. How did she know his name? He was famous, yes, but most kids did not recognize him right away. And she had said his name like she was expecting him. "Do I know you?" he asked. "Are you lost? Where are your parents?" The girl smiled, but it was not a happy smile. It was the kind of smile people make when they know something sad. "I am not lost, Mr. Reeves, but you are." This was getting strange. Keanu sat down on the bench next to her, but not too close. He did not want to make her uncomfortable. "What do you mean?" "I live here in the city. I know where I am." "That is not what I mean," the girl said. She turned her whole body to face him. Those bright eyes looked right into his. "You are not supposed to be here yet. The timeline is wrong." Keanu blinked. Timeline? What was this kid talking about? Maybe she watched too many science fiction movies, or maybe she had some kind of mental problem. He needed to be careful and kind. "What is your name?" he asked. "And what do you mean about a timeline?" "My name is Lucy," she said, "and I mean that things are happening too fast. Events that should happen later are happening now. It is dangerous." Lucy reached into her pocket and pulled out something small. In the light from the street lamp, Keanu could see it was some kind of device. It looked like a phone, but not like any phone he had ever seen. It was completely black and had no buttons. Strange symbols glowed on its surface. "Mr. Reeves," Lucy said, "in exactly 847 days, your planet will have its first contact with the Zephyrian Empire. They will not come in peace." Keanu stared at her. This was definitely some kind of joke or prank. Maybe someone was filming him for a TV show. He looked around for cameras but did not see any. "Listen, Lucy," he said carefully. "I think maybe you watch too many space movies. There are no aliens coming to Earth. And how could you know something like that would happen in exactly that many days?" Lucy's expression became very serious. "Because I have already lived through it, Mr. Reeves. In my timeline, it happened on March 15th, 2027. Most of humanity died in the first year of the war." The way she said it made Keanu's skin feel cold. She was not joking or playing pretend. She really believed what she was saying, but that was impossible. She was just a child. "Lucy, how old are you?" he asked. "This body is 12 years old," she answered. "But I am actually 43. "This body? What kind of way was that to talk?" Keanu was starting to feel worried. Maybe this girl was really sick and needed medical help. But before he could say anything, Lucy continued talking. "You had cornflakes for breakfast this morning," she said. You added sliced bananas and honey. You were wearing your old gray t-shirt, the one with the small hole near the left shoulder. You got that hole when you were working on your motorcycle 3 months ago. Keanu felt his heart beat faster. Those details were exactly right. But how could she know that? No one had been with him at breakfast. He lived alone. And he had never told anyone about how he got that hole in his shirt. You were thinking about your friend who died last year, Lucy continued. You were wondering if he would be proud of the choices you have made. You do this every morning when you eat breakfast. You talk to him like he is still there. Now Keanu felt really scared. Those thoughts were completely private. He had never told anyone about his morning conversations with his dead friend. How could this girl possibly know? Who are you? He whispered. Lucy looked at him with those strange, bright eyes. I told you. My name is Captain Lucy Vance of the Terran Defense Coalition, year 2157. I have been sent back in time to prevent humanity's extinction. Keanu wanted to stand up and walk away. This was too weird, but something in Lucy's voice made him stay. She sounded so sure, so serious, and she had known those things about him that no one else could know. That is impossible, he said. Many things are impossible until they happen, Lucy replied. Your species will learn that lesson soon enough. The night air suddenly felt colder. Keanu pulled his jacket tighter around himself. He looked at this strange girl named Lucy and wondered what was really happening. Was she crazy? Was he crazy? Or was something much bigger and scarier about to change his life forever? Keanu stared at Lucy for a long moment. The street around them was still quiet. A few cars drove by, but their drivers did not look at the man and the girl sitting on the bench. Everything seemed normal, but nothing felt normal anymore. You said you are from the year 2157, Keanu said slowly. That is more than 100 years from now. 132 years, Lucy said. I was born in 2114. The war with the Zephyrians started when I was 13 years old. I have been fighting them my whole life. Keanu looked at her small hands and young face. You are just a child. How can you be a soldier? Lucy's eyes became sad. This is not my real body, Mr. Reeves. My real body is in the future, connected to machines that keep it alive while my mind travels back in time. This body belongs to a girl who died in 2024. Her parents donated her body to science. We use these bodies to hide among people in your time. The idea made Keanu feel sick. That is horrible. War is horrible, Lucy said, but we do what we must to save humanity. Keanu stood up from the bench. This was too much. Time travel, dead bodies, alien wars. It sounded like a crazy movie. But those things she had said about his breakfast and his private thoughts, how could she know those things? Prove it, he said. If you are really from the future, prove it to me. Lucy nodded like she had been expecting this question. You have a scar on your left knee from when you fell off your bicycle when you were 7 years old. You were trying to impress a girl named Katie who lived on your street. Keanu touched his knee through his jeans. The scar was there, but it was very old and small. Most people never noticed it. You could have seen that scar in some old interview or medical record, he said. Your first pet was a hamster named Mr. Whiskers, Lucy continued. You cried for 3 days when he died. You buried him in your backyard under the big oak tree. You never told anyone about the hamster because your father said pets were for weak people. Keanu felt his mouth open in surprise. He had never told anyone about Mr. Whiskers. Not even his closest friends knew about that hamster. He had been 6 years old, and it was one of his most private childhood memories. How do you know that? He whispered. In my time, we have access to all human memories, Lucy said. Every thought, every dream, every secret. The machines can read everything from a person's brain after they die. Your memories are in our database, because you are important to human history. This was getting more frightening by the minute. What do you mean, important to human history? Lucy looked around to make sure no one was listening. Then she moved closer to Keanu on the bench. Mr. Reeves, you are what we call a catalyst individual. Your actions in the next few years will determine whether humanity survives or dies. That is impossible, Keanu said. I am just an actor. I make movies. I am not a leader or a scientist or a soldier. You are more than you know, Lucy said. In the original timeline, you helped unite humanity against the Zephyrian invasion. Your influence and connections brought together the right people at the right time. But it was not enough. Too many people died before we could organize properly. Keanu sat back down. His head was spinning with all this information. What exactly are these Zephyrians? What do they want? Lucy's young face became very serious. They are an empire that has conquered hundreds of worlds across the galaxy. They are not like humans. They do not feel emotions the way we do. They see other species as either useful or dangerous. If useful, they make them slaves. If dangerous, they destroy them completely. And they think humans are dangerous? Very dangerous, Lucy said. Humans have something that scares the Zephyrians, something they have never seen in any other species they have conquered. What is that? Lucy smiled for the first time since they started talking. But it was not a happy smile. It was the smile of someone who had seen terrible things but refused to give up. Hope, she said. Humans never stop hoping, even when everything looks impossible. Other species surrender when they are beaten. Humans fight harder. The Zephyrians have studied thousands of alien races, but they cannot understand human behavior. We do not follow their rules. Keanu thought about this. It sounded like something from a science fiction movie, but Lucy spoke with such certainty, and she still knew things about him that no one else could know. Tell me something else, he said. Something that proves you are really from the future. Lucy reached into her pocket again and pulled out the strange device he had seen before. She touched its surface and symbols began to glow brighter. Next week there will be an earthquake in Japan, she said, reading from the device. It will happen on Tuesday at 3:47 in the afternoon local time. The earthquake will be magnitude 6.2. 43 people will be injured, but no one will die. Looked up at him. After that happens, will you believe me? Keanu stared at the device. What is that thing? A temporal communication device, Lucy said. It connects to our computers in the future. I can access historical records and receive new orders from my commanders. If you can see the future, why cannot you stop bad things from happening? Lucy's expression became sad again. Because changing too many small things might make bigger problems. We can only change the most important events. The earthquake next week is not important enough to stop, but the Zephyrian invasion is. Keanu looked up at the night sky. The stars looked peaceful and beautiful. It was hard to imagine that somewhere among those stars, an alien empire was planning to attack Earth. Why should I believe any of this? He asked. Lucy put the device back in her pocket. Because deep in your heart you already do believe me. You can feel that something big is coming. You have felt it for months now, but you did not know what it was. Keanu realized she was right. For the past few months he had been having strange dreams about danger coming from the sky. He had been feeling worried about the future without knowing why. He had thought it was just stress from work, but maybe it was something more. What do you need me to do? He asked quietly. Lucy's bright eyes seemed to glow even more in the darkness. Help me save humanity, Mr. Reeves. Help me change history, so that this time, we will be ready for war. The night air felt cold on Keanu's skin as he realized that his quiet life was about to end. Whatever happened next, nothing would ever be the same again. Lucy stood up from the bench and looked around the empty street. We cannot talk about this here much longer, she said. There are others watching. Others? Keanu asked, feeling worried. What others? Zephyrian scouts, Lucy said quietly. They have been on Earth for 2 years already. They look like humans, but they are not. They study your people and report back to their empire. Keanu looked up and down the street. Everything looked normal. A few cars drove by. Some lights were on in the windows of nearby buildings. He did not see anything strange. How can you tell if someone is a Zephyrian scout? He asked. They do not behave like real humans, Lucy said. They try to copy human emotions, but they do it wrong. They smile at the wrong times. They do not understand jokes. And their eyes never change when they feel different emotions. This was getting more frightening every minute. Keanu had always felt safe walking around his neighborhood at night. Now he was wondering if the people he saw every day were actually alien spies. "I need more proof," he said. "If I am going to help you, I need to know for sure that you are telling the truth." Lucy nodded. "I understand. Trust is important." She pulled out her strange device again. "But we need to go somewhere more private first. Follow me." She started walking toward a small park across the street. Keanu hesitated for a moment, then followed her. The park had tall trees and several benches. It was darker there, away from the street lights. Lucy sat down on a bench under a big tree. She touched her device, and it began to glow brighter. Strange. Symbols moved across its surface like water. "This device can show you things from the future," she said. "But the images might be disturbing. Are you ready?" Keanu sat down next to her. "Show me." Lucy touched the device again. Suddenly a picture appeared in the air above it. The image was like a small television screen, but it was floating, and there was no television anywhere. The picture showed Earth, from space. But something was wrong. The planet looked sick. Brown clouds covered most of the surface. The oceans were a strange, dark color instead of blue. "This is Earth in the year 2030, Lucy said, 3 years after the Zephyrian invasion began. The image changed. Now it showed a city that Keanu recognized as New York. But the buildings were broken and burning. Strange ships flew through the sky, shooting beams of light at the ground. People were running and screaming. "The Zephyrians do not just want to conquer Earth," Lucy said. "They want to change it completely. They cannot breathe your air or drink your water. So they poison the atmosphere and the oceans to make the planet suitable for their kind." Keanu watched in horror as the images continued. He saw more destroyed. Cities, dead forests, and dark skies. How many people died? "In my original timeline, 6 billion humans died in the first 5 years, Lucy said quietly. The survivors lived underground like animals. The images changed again. Now Keanu saw underground tunnels filled with thin, dirty people. They looked hungry and afraid. Children were crying. Old people were coughing. But humans fought back, Lucy continued. Even when everything seemed hopeless, they never gave up. Small groups of survivors built weapons from scraps of metal. They learned to hide from the Zephyrian patrols. They attacked supply ships and rescued prisoners. The next image showed human fighters wearing strange armor and carrying weapons that glowed with blue light. They were attacking a Zephyrian base. The aliens in the image were tall and thin with gray skin and large black eyes. "It took 23 years, but humanity finally won the war," Lucy said. "We learned to use Zephyrian technology against them. We built better ships and stronger weapons. Most importantly, we learned to work together like never before." "If humans won the war, why did you come back in time?" Keanu asked. Lucy's young face looked very sad. "Because the cost was too high. Billions of people died who did not have to die. Entire cities were destroyed that could have been saved. Families were separated forever." She touched the device again and the images disappeared. "This time we want to be ready before the Zephyrians arrive. We want to save those billions of lives." Keanu stared at the place where the images had been floating. Everything he had seen looked so real. The details were perfect. It would be impossible to fake something like that. "How do I know these images are real?" he asked. "Maybe you have very good computer graphics." Lucy smiled. "You are right to be careful. Let me show you something else." She touched the device differently this time. A new image appeared, but this one showed something Keanu recognized. It was his own house, but the image was from above, like it was taken by a drone. "This is your house right now," Lucy said. "Your cat is sleeping on your bed. You left the television on in the living room. The channel is showing an old movie about cowboys." Keanu felt his heart beat faster. That was exactly right. He had been watching that cowboy movie before he left for dinner. And his cat always slept on his bed when he was not home. The image zoomed in closer. Through the window, Keanu could see his living room. The television was definitely showing the cowboy movie. He could even see his cat sleeping in the bedroom. This is happening right now, Lucy said. This device can show me anything on Earth in real time. That is impossible, Keanu said, but his voice was weak. The evidence was right in front of his eyes. Your species will invent this technology in about 50 years, Lucy said. But we brought it back with us to help change history. She changed the image again. Now it showed the restaurant where they had met earlier. Keanu could see his motorcycle still parked under the streetlight. I can show you anything, anywhere on Earth, Lucy said. Past, present, or future. This is how we know so much about your time. Keanu looked at the floating image and realized that his old life was truly over. If this girl really had technology like this, then everything she had told him was probably true. Aliens were coming to destroy humanity. And somehow, he was supposed to help stop them. What happens if we fail? He asked quietly. Lucy turned off the device and the image disappeared. The park became dark and quiet again. Then this time humanity does not just lose the war, she said. This time, humanity disappears forever. The weight of what she was saying settled on Keanu's shoulders like a heavy blanket. The entire future of the human race might depend on what he did in the next few days. He looked up at the stars again. They did not look peaceful anymore. Somewhere out there, an alien empire was planning to destroy everything he had ever known and loved. Lucy put her device away and looked directly at Keanu. Now that you believe me, I need to explain why humans are so special. Why the Zephyrians are afraid of your species. Keanu was still thinking about the terrible images he had seen. Cities on fire, people running in fear, the earth itself dying. You said it was because humans never give up hope. That is part of it, Lucy said. But there is more. The Zephyrians have conquered 847 worlds. They have fought against thousands of different alien species, but they have never met anything like humans. She stood up and began walking slowly around the park. Keanu followed her, listening carefully to every word. Most alien species are very logical, Lucy continued. When they are losing a fight, they surrender to save lives. When their technology is destroyed, they accept defeat. When their leaders are killed, they fall apart. This makes sense to the Zephyrians because they think the same way. But humans are different, Keanu said. Very different, Lucy agreed. Humans do crazy things that no logical species would ever try. When you are losing, you fight harder. When your weapons are broken, you make new ones from garbage. When your leaders die, new leaders step forward. They walked past a small pond in the center of the park. The water was very still and reflected the stars above. In my timeline, there was a battle on the moon, Lucy said. The Zephyrians had captured our main base there. Only 12 human soldiers were left alive. Their weapons were almost out of power. Their spaceship was destroyed. Any logical species would have surrendered. What did the humans do? Keanu asked. Lucy smiled, and for the first time it was a proud smile. They strapped bombs to their bodies and ran straight at the Zephyrian command center. They killed 300 aliens and destroyed their main computer. It gave Earth 3 more months to prepare for the next attack. Keanu felt amazed and horrified at the same time. They killed themselves? They sacrificed themselves to save others, Lucy said. This is something the Zephyrians cannot understand. Their species never sacrifices individuals for the group. They always choose personal survival over everything else. They sat down on another bench near the pond. The night was getting colder, but Keanu barely noticed. The Zephyrians also cannot understand human creativity. Lucy continued. When they fight, they follow plans that have worked before. Humans create new solutions for every problem. What do you mean? Lucy pulled out her device again, but this time she just held it without turning it on. In the war, humans learned to turn everyday objects into weapons. A microwave oven became a bomb. A cell phone became a way to hack Zephyrian computers. Even children's toys were turned into spy devices. That does sound very human, Keanu said with a small laugh. The Zephyrians study human behavior, but they always make the same mistake, Lucy said. They try to predict what humans will do based on logic. But humans do not always act logically. You act based on emotions like love, anger, and hope. This makes you unpredictable. Keanu thought about his own life. How many times had he made decisions based on feelings instead of logic? How many times had he done something because it felt right, not because it made sense? There is something else, Lucy said. Something that might be the most important difference of all. What is it? Humans learn faster during a crisis than any other species the Zephyrians have seen, she said. When you are in danger, your brains work differently. You adapt and improve at incredible speed. Lucy turned on her device and showed him another image. This time it was a human laboratory with scientists working on strange machines. In my timeline, it took humans only 5 years to go from basic Earth technology to building spaceships that could fight Zephyrian warships, she said. The Zephyrians had expected it to take at least 50 years. How is that possible? Because humans share knowledge freely during a crisis, Lucy explained. Scientists from different countries worked together. Military secrets were shared with civilian researchers. Rich people gave money to anyone with good ideas. The whole species became one big team. The image changed to show humans and aliens working side by side. Humans also made friends with other alien species that the Zephyrians had enslaved. You convinced them to rebel and fight for their freedom. The Zephyrians had never seen anything like it. Keanu was starting to understand. So humans are dangerous to the Zephyrians not because we are stronger or smarter, but because we behave in ways they cannot predict or control. Exactly, Lucy said. And that is why they want to destroy humanity before you become too powerful. They know that if they wait too long, humans will find a way to defeat them. She turned off the device and looked at Keanu seriously. But here is the problem. In my timeline, humans only became united after billions had already died. The crisis brought people together, but the cost was terrible. And you want to unite humanity before the crisis happens, Keanu said. Yes. If we can prepare humans for the invasion, if we can get them working together before the attack, then we can save most of those lives. Keanu felt the weight of responsibility settling on him again. What exactly do you need me to do? Lucy reached into her pocket and pulled out something small and silver. It looked like a coin, but it had strange symbols on it. This is a communication device, she said, handing it to him. It will let you talk to other Catalyst individuals who are already working on this mission. Keanu took the coin. It felt warm in his hand. Other people like me? People who have the influence and connections to make big changes happen quickly, Lucy said. A scientist who can develop new weapons, a military officer who can train soldiers, a business owner who can provide money and resources. How many of us are there? 12 people in total, Lucy said. You are the last one I need to contact. The others have been working for several weeks already. Keanu looked at the coin in his hand. It was heavier than it looked. What happens when I contact them? You will learn about Project Guardian, Lucy said. That is the code name for our mission to prepare humanity for the invasion. Each person has a specific role to play. What is my role? Lucy stood up and looked at him with those bright, strange eyes. You are the connector, Mr. Reeves. Your job is to bring together people who would never normally work together. Your fame and reputation will open doors that are closed to others. Keanu thought about all the people he knew. Movie stars, directors, producers, writers, rich people, famous people, powerful people, people who could make things happen if they wanted to. You want me to tell them about the alien invasion? Not directly, Lucy said. Most people are not ready to hear the truth. Yet, you will need to be clever about it. Convince them to invest in the right projects, get them interested in space defense, make them want to work together. She started walking toward the edge of the park. The communication device will give you detailed instructions. It will also let you coordinate with the other Catalyst individuals. Keanu followed her, still holding the coin. When do I start? Lucy stopped at the park entrance and turned back to him. You start tomorrow, Mr. Reeves. Time is running out faster than we expected. What do you mean? Her young face looked worried. The Zephyrian scouts are becoming more active. They are preparing for the invasion sooner than in my original timeline. We might only have 2 years instead of 3. Keanu felt his stomach drop. Everything was happening so fast. Yesterday he had been a normal person with a normal life. Now he was supposed to help save the entire human race. "What if I fail?" he asked quietly. Lucy walked close to him and put her small hand on his shoulder. "Then you will fail trying to do the most important thing any human has ever attempted," she said. "But I do not think you will fail, Mr. Reeves. Humans never do." 3 days later, Keanu sat in his living room holding the silver coin Lucy had given him. He had been staring at it for an hour, trying to decide if he should use it. Everything that had happened felt like a strange dream, but the coin was real and solid in his hand. The earthquake in Japan had happened exactly when Lucy said it would. Tuesday at 3:47 in the afternoon, magnitude 6.2. 43 people injured, no deaths. The news reports matched her prediction perfectly. That had convinced him that Lucy was telling the truth. But knowing the truth and acting on it were two different things. Keanu pressed his thumb against the strange symbols on the coin, the way Lucy had told him to do. The coin became warm and began to glow with a soft blue light. A woman's voice spoke from the coin, clear and strong. "Hello, Mr. Reeves. This is Dr. Rachel Martinez from MIT. I have been waiting for your call." Keanu almost dropped the coin in surprise. "You can hear me?" "Yes, and I can see you too if you look at the coin closely." Keanu held the coin up to his face. The symbols were moving and shifting, and he could see a tiny image of a woman with dark hair and glasses. She was sitting in what looked like a laboratory. "This is incredible technology," he said. "Wait until you see what else we are working on," Dr. Martinez said with a smile. "Lucy told us you would be joining Project Guardian. We need to meet in person as soon as possible." "Where?" "Las Vegas. There is a technology conference happening this week. It will be a good cover for our meeting. Can you be there tomorrow?" Keanu thought about his schedule. He had no important meetings for the next few days. "Yes, I can be there." "Good. Check into the Bellagio Hotel. Ask for the presidential suite under the name John Stone. We have already reserved it for you." "John Stone?" "Your code name for this operation," Dr. Martinez explained. "Everyone in Project Guardian has a code name. Mine is Eagle. Lucy is Phoenix." This was starting to feel like a spy movie, but a very serious spy movie where the fate of humanity was at stake. "Who else will be there?" Keanu asked. "Let me introduce you to the team," Dr. Martinez said. The image in the coin changed to show a man in military uniform. He had short gray hair and looked very serious. "This is Colonel Frank Wilson," Dr. Martinez said. "Codename Hawk. He commands a special unit at the Pentagon that officially does not exist." The image changed again. Now Keanu saw a young man with messy brown hair and thick glasses. He was sitting in front of multiple computer screens. "This is Danny Chen," Dr. Martinez continued. "Codename Ghost. He owns a computer company in Silicon Valley. He is probably the best hacker in the world." "Nice to meet you, Mr. Reeves," Danny said with a grin. "I have seen all your movies. My favorite is the one where you dodge bullets." The image changed once more. This time, Keanu saw an older woman with silver hair wearing an expensive business suit. "And this is Linda Foster," Dr. Martinez said. "Codename Queen. She owns 3 major banks and has connections to every important person in business and government." "Mr. Reeves," Linda said in a cultured voice, "I must say I am impressed by your willingness to join our cause. Not everyone would risk their comfortable life for something like this." Keanu looked at all these people who were now depending on him. "What exactly are we going to do in Las Vegas?" Colonel Wilson answered. "We are going to show you what we have been building for the past month. Dr. Martinez has made some remarkable discoveries based on the information Lucy provided." "What kind of discoveries?" Dr. Martinez appeared in the coin again. "Energy weapons, force fields, and communication systems that are 50 years ahead of current technology. But we need your help to get them into the right hands." "My help?" Danny spoke up. "You know people in Hollywood who make movies about space and aliens, right? They have special effects companies with amazing technology. Some of those companies also work on secret government projects. Keanu understood. You want me to convince them to work with us? Exactly, Colonel Wilson said. We need people who can build things quickly and quietly. People who are used to working on projects that must be kept secret until they are finished. Linda Foster added, we also need funding. Lots of funding. The kind of money that only comes from very wealthy people who trust each other completely. And that is where you come in, Mr. Reeves, Dr. Martinez said. You have friends who are rich, famous, and influential. More importantly, they trust you. Keanu walked to his window and looked out at the city lights. Millions of people were out there living their normal lives. They had no idea that their entire world might end in less than 3 years. How many people can we tell the truth to? He asked. Very few, Colonel Wilson said. Most people cannot handle this kind of information. They would panic or refuse to believe it. We can only trust people who are strong enough to keep working even when they are afraid. We estimate that maybe 100 people in the whole world can be told the complete truth, Linda Foster said. Everyone else will have to be convinced to help us for other reasons. Danny laughed. I told my team we are working on special effects for a new alien invasion movie. They think it is the coolest project ever. What about the government? Keanu asked. Should not the president know about this? There was a long pause. Finally, Colonel Wilson spoke. The government has been infiltrated by Zephyrian scouts. We cannot trust anyone at the highest levels until we know who is human and who is not. This was getting more frightening all the time. How can you tell the difference? Lucy taught us some tests, Dr. Martinez said. But they only work if you can get close to the person for several minutes. It is not easy to do with important government officials. So we are on our own, Keanu said. For now, Linda Foster said. But we are not powerless. Between all of us, we have access to incredible resources, military equipment, advanced laboratories, billions of dollars, and connections to thousands of important people. The image in the coin changed to show all 4 of them together in what looked like a high-tech command center. This is our base of operations, Dr. Martinez said. It is hidden beneath one of Linda's office buildings in downtown Las Vegas. We have been working here for 3 weeks. Keanu could see walls covered with screens showing maps, charts, and technical diagrams. People in lab coats were working at various stations. It looked like something from a science fiction movie. How did you build all this so quickly? He asked. When you know the end of the world is coming, you work very fast, Colonel Wilson said grimly. Danny grinned. Plus, it helps when you can hack into any computer system on the planet and transfer money from Swiss bank accounts that belong to people who will not miss it. Danny? Linda Foster said sternly. What? They are all criminals anyway. Arms dealers and drug smugglers. We are redistributing their wealth for the good of humanity. Despite everything, Keanu found himself smiling. These people were remarkable. In just a few weeks, they had created a secret organization that could compete with any government agency. When do we start the real work? He asked. Tomorrow night, Dr. Martinez said. After you see what we have built, we will begin phase 2 of Project Guardian. That is when we start recruiting the people who will help us save the world. Colonel Wilson appeared in the coin again. Mr. Reeves, I want you to understand something. Once you walk into our facility tomorrow, your old life is over. You will become a soldier in a war that most people do not even know is coming. Keanu looked at the coin in his hand. These people were asking him to give up everything he had worked for his entire life. His career, his privacy, his safety, maybe even his life. But if he did not help them, everyone he cared about would die anyway. I understand, he said quietly. I will be there tomorrow. The images faded from the coin and it became cool and silver again. Keanu put it in his pocket and walked to his bedroom to pack a bag. He had a feeling he would not be coming home for a very long time. Keanu stood in an elevator that was going down much farther than any elevator should go. He had been traveling underground for almost 2 minutes. The numbers on the display showed he was now 40 floors below the surface of Las Vegas. The elevator stopped with a soft sound. The doors opened to reveal the most amazing sight Keanu had ever seen. The secret base was enormous. The main room was as big as an airplane hangar, with a ceiling so high he could barely see it. Hundreds of people in white coats were working at tables covered with strange devices. Holographic displays floated in the air, showing star maps and technical diagrams. The walls were lined with screens displaying information from all over the world. Dr. Martinez was waiting for him when he stepped out of the elevator. In person, she looked younger than she had in the coin, but her eyes were serious and determined. "Welcome to Project Guardian headquarters," she said. "What do you think?" "I think this looks like something from a movie about the future," Keanu said honestly. Dr. Martinez laughed. "In a way it is. Everything you see here is based on technology that will not be invented for another 50 years. Lucy gave us the blueprints, but we had to figure out how to build it with materials available today." She led him through the busy facility. Scientists were testing weapons that shot beams of blue light. Engineers were working on machines that seemed to float in the air without any support. Computer specialists were studying screens filled with symbols that looked nothing like any human language. "How many people work here?" Keanu asked. "About 300, Dr. Martinez said. "All of them think they are working on advanced special effects for movies or video games. Only the 12 catalyst individuals know the real purpose." They walked past a group of people assembling what looked like a suit of armor made from mirrors. "What is that?" Keanu asked. "Personal force field generator," Dr. Martinez explained. "It can stop bullets, energy beams, and even small explosions. We based it on Zephyrian technology that Lucy brought back from the future." Keanu watched as a technician put on the armor and stood in front of a target. Another technician fired what looked like a laser gun at him. The beam hit the armor and bounced off harmlessly. "That is incredible," Keanu said. "Wait until you see the really impressive stuff," Dr. Martinez said with a smile. They entered a smaller room where Colonel Wilson was standing next to a table covered with weapons. He looked up as they approached. "Mr. Reeves," he said, shaking Keanu's hand firmly. "Good to finally meet you in person. Ready to see what we are preparing for war?" Colonel Wilson picked up a rifle that glowed with internal blue light. "This is a plasma weapon. It can cut through 6 inches of steel like it was paper. More importantly, it can penetrate Zephyrian armor." He showed Keanu several other weapons: grenades that created miniature suns, bullets that could track their targets, shields that could stop any kind of attack. "We have enough equipment here to arm a small army," Colonel Wilson said, "but we need much more. We need to arm millions of people." "How do we do that without telling everyone about the invasion?" Keanu asked. Danny Chen appeared at the doorway. He looked excited and was carrying a tablet computer. "We do it the same way humans always do impossible things," he said. "We get creative." Danny showed Keanu the screen of his tablet. It displayed what looked like a video game advertisement. "I am creating the most realistic alien invasion video game ever made," Danny explained. "Players will learn to use real weapons and real tactics against real Zephyrian attack patterns. They will think they are just having fun, but they will actually be training for war." "That is brilliant," Keanu said. "The game will be free and available worldwide," Danny continued. "I estimate we can train about 50 million people in the first year alone." Linda Foster joined them in the weapons room. She was carrying a folder full of papers. "I have been working on the financial side of our preparations," she said. "We are secretly funding research projects at 200 universities around the world. The scientists think they are working on clean energy and space exploration. Actually, they are developing weapons and defenses." She opened her folder and showed Keanu a list of names and numbers. "We have also been buying companies that make important materials," Linda continued. "Rare metals, advanced electronics, rocket, fuel. When the war starts, we will control most of the supplies needed to build weapons." Keanu looked at all these preparations and felt amazed. In just a few weeks, these people had started building what looked like humanity's entire defense against an alien invasion. "This is all incredible," he said. "But what is my role in all this?" Dr. Martinez led him to another room where Lucy was waiting. She still looked like a 12-year-old girl, but now she was wearing a military uniform that was too big for her small body. "Hello again, Mr. Reeves," Lucy said. "Are you ready to begin your mission? What exactly do you need me to do?" Lucy walked to a large screen on the wall and touched it. Names and photographs appeared showing dozens of famous people. "These are the individuals you need to recruit," Lucy said. "Movie directors, producers, actors, writers. People who can help us spread our message without revealing the truth." She pointed to different names on the screen. "We need movies about alien invasions to become very popular. We need people to start thinking about space defense. We need the idea of fighting aliens to seem exciting instead of frightening." "You want me to convince Hollywood to make propaganda films?" Keanu asked. "Not propaganda," Lucy said. "Entertainment that teaches important lessons. Movies that show humans winning against impossible odds. Stories that make people want to be heroes." Danny joined them at the screen. "I am already working with video game companies. Linda is funding research projects. Colonel Wilson is training special military units. Dr. Martinez is developing weapons, but you have access to something none of us can reach." "What is that?" "The hearts and minds of ordinary people," Lucy said. "Movies and television shows influence how millions of people think and feel. If we can make the right entertainment, we can prepare humanity psychologically for what is coming." Colonel Wilson appeared at Lucy's shoulder. "The most important battle will not be fought with weapons, Mr. Reeves. It will be fought with courage and determination. We need people to believe they can win." Keanu understood. His job was not just to recruit powerful people. His job was to help change how all of humanity thought about itself. "How much time do we have?" he asked. Lucy's young face became very serious. "Less than we hoped. Our latest intelligence suggests the Zephyrian main fleet will arrive in exactly 26 months. That is not very long." "No, it is not," Lucy agreed. "But it might be enough if we work together. Humans can accomplish amazing things when they are united by a common purpose." She walked close to Keanu and looked up at him with those bright, strange eyes. "Mr. Reeves, I have seen the future where humanity fights alone and unprepared. Billions die in the first year. Cities burn. Children starve. Families are destroyed." She paused and smiled. "But I have also seen what humans can do when they refuse to give up. You find ways to win battles you should lose. You create weapons from garbage. You make allies out of enemies. You never stop fighting, no matter how hopeless things look." Lucy put her small hand on Keanu's arm. "The question is not whether humanity can defeat the Zephyrian Empire. The question is whether we will be ready when they arrive." Keanu looked around the room at all these remarkable people who had dedicated their lives to saving the world. Dr. Martinez with her brilliant scientific mind. Colonel Wilson with his military expertise. Danny with his technological skills. Linda with her financial resources. And Lucy, a time traveler who had risked everything to give humanity a second chance. "What do I do first?" he asked. Lucy smiled, and for the first time since he had met her, she looked like a normal, happy child. "You make a phone call, Mr. Reeves. You call your friends in Hollywood and tell them you have an idea for the greatest movie ever made." Keanu pulled out his regular phone and looked at it. Soon he would be making calls that would change everything. Calls that would begin humanity's preparation for the war of their lives. He looked up at the stars on Lucy's holographic display and realized something important. For the first time since this all began, he was not afraid anymore. He was excited. Humanity was about to show the galaxy what they were made of.